Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my birth and delivery, so let's get straight into the story, shall we? I couldn't ask for a better birthing experience. It went exactly the way I planned it to, and I am so grateful for that because I had such a hard pregnancy and I was actually really looking forward to a new chapter, a new beginning through the birth journey. It was so important to me to be able to experience it on a whole other level. I really believe in the law of attraction. I was constantly attracting positive energy towards my birth. I would do yoga to help ground my body and prepare my body to be able to deliver my baby. I would create positive mind affirmations and just attract all this beautiful positive energy towards me to draw this amazing birth journey. And I am so proud to say that all the preparation I did worked. In early labor, I really utilized the essential oils I bought for my birth journey. I used them to give me energy and give me strength to power on my contractions and to create a relaxing environment. I struggled to sleep in early labor because the contractions were intense enough to keep me awake. They weren't bad, but I couldn't sleep because of what was to come. So I was in and out of the bath the whole night. As the morning approached, my contractions were getting closer together, but they were still sporadic. So I would have about 4-minute contractions in a 30-minute interval, but then they'd jump back to 7 minutes apart. The whole time I just labored in the bath. By this point I was quite exhausted because I had been up all night, so we rang the midwife and she suggested to come into the hospital. It was about a 45-minute drive, so we got there around 3 p.m. She checked me and I was only 2 centimeters dilated and I was devastated. I was so tired and I was just ready to have my baby. So she said, do you want to stay here or do you want to go back home? And I was like, no, I want to go back home. I want to labor at home and aim for my natural birth. In the car ride home, the contractions got quite intense. We got home at around 5 p.m. and my contractions were becoming a lot more intense, so I got straight into the bath and stayed in there for about 3.5 hours. They were quite intense and I was at the point of sleep deprivation where I was ready to give up. I did not have any more strength. Isaac continued to guide me through this intense journey and reminded me to breathe. He put on some meditation music for me and just held my hand through the contractions. They were about 2 minutes apart, but at this stage I just was so in the moment where I did not really realize. Isaac decided to call the midwife. It was about 8 o'clock at this time, and she said, yeah, I think you should come back into the hospital. Isaac had to drag me out of the bath. I didn't want to leave the bath at this point because it was just so intense that I didn't really feel like I was getting a break. My break was like, it felt so fast between contractions. So I got out and I just remember feeling so cold and shaking but sweating and hot. It was the strangest feeling ever. And I just got onto the couch and was having another contraction and I felt this pop and my water was breaking, but it didn't completely break. So Isaac put the dressing gown around me and I walked to the car, and I do not remember the car ride at all. It was just kind of like, I kind of blacked out through the car ride. As I said, it was 45 minutes and I just remember moaning to like get me through the contractions. We got to the hospital and from the car park to the elevator doors. I had no contractions. So for about 5 minutes, I didn't have a contraction. And I was like, oh no, they're gonna send me back home. Because we chose a birthing clinic, the hospital was actually closed, and we were meeting the midwives upstairs in the birthing suite. The midwife called Isaac and said she will be there shortly. So we stepped out of the elevator and a security guard came up and said, you have to go back to the main entrance because you're not allowed up here unsupervised. And then I just kind of dropped to the floor and my water completely broke, and I was like, I need to push. Like, I have this urge to push. And so Isaac was freaking out. He rang the midwife. She said she'll be there. She's coming up now. At this point, I thought I was going to have the baby outside the birthing suite on the floor because the urge was so strong that he was coming at that time. The midwife just got there and opened the birthing suite, and I pretty much ran into my birthing room and I was just begging them to run the water for the water birth. And they said, you're not gonna have enough time, he's coming now, jump into the shower. And I was like, can you just try and run it? And so they turned it on, but at this point I was pushing in the shower and his head was crowning. Now, I didn't feel him crowning. I didn't realize how fast this was going to happen. I was just like, I thought I had about 6 hours to go. Anyway, they got the bath to a certain point and said, you can hop in it, but you have to labour on your back. And so I quickly ran into the bath and pushed him out in like 5 minutes, and I just remember being so shocked at how fast things happened. Now, when I was at home and we were leaving, I actually didn't realize that the hot and cold sweat and like the shaking was me in transition. It didn't occur because I was so in the moment. So I got my natural birth, and I actually expected the contractions to get so much more worse. I really thought they were going to be unbearable, but they weren't. And that's one thing I want to address today is you hear all these scary stories that it's going to be the worst pain in your life, but it really was amazing. It wasn't a bad pain. It was a pain that, it wasn't even a pain. It was just intense. And the intensity brought you closer to your baby. And it's probably the most amazing thing I've ever gone through. And call me crazy, but I actually loved being in labor and I loved birthing. And I would do it again and again and again, apart from the fact that we're only planning to have one child. And I'm quite content with that. But the actual experience was amazing. And don't be afraid if you're pregnant. Don't listen to scary stories. It's all about your mindset. It's all about the thoughts and the people around you. Like, if you have a strong, courageous person to be your birth partner and to encourage you, then that's what you need. You need to surround yourself with people who are going to bring you up and help you go through with your birth plan, because it's possible. It's all about your mindset. So thanks for listening to my birth story. I'm going to do Theodore's 1 month update because the first month was just crazy, and I captured so many images and videos to share, but I wasn't able to make a newborn video because, my God, not being able to sleep for 1 month has been a big adjustment. So stay tuned for that. Thanks guys, bye.